Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. I'm going to try to make this a fairly quick one. Every once in a while, somebody asks a question, and while I can reply in text, I thought maybe on camera would be fun for us all. So, the question came along about other hand planes, wooden hand planes, um, the workbench, etc. So, let's get the story of the workbench out of the way. Many years ago, I had a bigger workbench, very similar type design, but it was a kit bench that someone had built that I had acquired. Very similar, where the vise had dog holes and two series of dog holes this way, and the tail vise had dog holes and a series of holes that way. But then I was looking on Craigslist years ago, and somebody had a Joburg's workbench for sale a little over an hour away. So I went to look at it. We settled on a price and I brought it home, and it's been here ever since. It's not a very big bench. It's only 23 inches wide, the work surface, and 52¼ inches long. I'm pretty sure that translates out to something that makes sense in metric, because the dog holes, which are round, which I don't like dog holes that are round, are 100 millimeters apart. So I don't remember the name of this bench that is marketed still today. I'm not sure if they call it a 1200. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They might call this a 1200. I don't know. It's actually more like 1350, but I don't particularly like round dog holes. I like the old-fashioned square or rectangular ones, and I don't particularly like these hard plastic bench dogs, because if you hit these with your plane, you're going to sharpen your plane blade. Does it dull it bad? No, but the way I sharpen to get shavings that you can see light through, it will dull it enough that I need to hone. So the next thing that people ask me is about planes. And this year I did a bunch of videos on ECE planes that I have. And I don't like planing against a single dog hole like that. Bench stop, I should say, or bench dog. I like being against wood. So, I like my wooden planes, whether it's ECE or any other brand like Ott or Umia, or the ones that I make. But this one always brings a smile to my face on how beautifully it works. And look how wide open that mouth is. It's almost a scrub plane. Now, when I made this, I laminated white oak to maple for the body, and I made sure I had flat sawn on the bottom, on the sole. And I'm not sure if I got it right, but you should always have your wood grain going in that direction. So from toe to heel, it runs out, so that when you're planing, it's like being on a ski. And then I put quarter sawn on the sides, which ended up with flat sawn down here. But it always amazes me, if I'm planing a halfway decent piece of wood, and this is just hemlock I'm planing, this is nothing special, but it behaves so well. With what was a $5 block plane blade off of eBay. So the ECE here, this is they call it a one-hand plane. It's made of hornbeam or white beech and lignum vitae. Single iron, no chip breaker. Works beautifully. And this one here, we've talked about this earlier this year. They call it their Knabenhobel. In other words, a Knaben is a child, but for marketing purposes, they switched it up and called it a gent's plane. There you go. It too is a single iron. And as you can see, it too works perfectly fine. So I really like wooden bodied planes. They're lighter. You can either get some that are comfortable in your hand, or you can make them yourself so that they fit your hand. I'm in the process of reshaping the smoother. Gotta do a lot more on it yet. The front's not too bad. Front feels pretty good. I want to try to take maybe a little bit more off the sides and the back here. And as I alluded to in another video, I need to put strike buttons in the fronts for adjusting. So for now, I tap there and it backs the iron up. So that's about it for this one. If you like this type of a scenario, give the video a thumbs up and put any other questions you might have down in the comments so that we could do more of these. It's cold in here. 42 degrees. That's not nice. No, wait a minute. It's 55 degrees and 42% humidity. The thermometer in the back says 53. Yeah, I have two thermometers in the same room. See, the heater just kicked on. I don't like this time of year because every time that heater kicks on, my brain tells me that's dollars flying out the window. But, and that might be a topic for another discussion, you really should never let your workshop get cold. 55 is about as low as I like to have it in here. I would prefer 60, but for every degree you raise your thermostat, I think they say it's like you increase your bill by 10%, something like that. So maybe we'll do another video about shop heating. I did one years ago, but this time of year, everybody's, in the workshops. The main thing is, if you keep your shop warm, I'm not saying lounge chair warm. I'm talking about warm enough so that you don't have to wear gloves and that just normal activity keeps your body warm enough. You won't sweat. It prevents glues and oils and everything else from getting cold and finishes, etc. It keeps your wood dry. So if you bring in wood into your workshop when the heat is on, make sure you sticker it and you leave it set for a week or two so that it can acclimate to your shop. The same is true if you bring dry wood into a humid shop. You don't want to work it right away. So that's about it, everybody. Like, subscribe, and share, and head out to your shop. Go make some shavings. Walter out.